On this channel, $1 Million Made Easy, we love to show people how to get to $1 million, and it doesn't take as much as you think. In some other videos, we look at those numbers, but in this case, we want to look at once you reach retirement and you want to start withdrawing money from your nest egg, what's a good way to do that? And what I want to do is just run some numbers for you. Let's say you have reached that $1 million and you want to take out what's been recommended for decades, the 4% rule. You want to take out $3,500 a month, which would be $42,000 a year. Where might you be? And we'll look at every single year. We're going to look at 1929 for one thing, because that's the worst case scenario. But what people would recommend is, because of these initial down years, if they're down years like this, like the depression years, you're just going to plain run out of money because you're taking the 42,000 out each year, plus the market's going down, so you're basically selling low. And so what people recommend is have an asset allocation of, let's just say, 70-30. 70-30 meaning 700,000 remains in the S&P 500 and 300,000 remains or goes over to the cash reserve, and we'll just say it's getting 3%. The reason you do this is so when the market's going down, you're not taking this 42,000 out of the 700,000, which we just saw previously that would knock it down too fast. You're taking it out of the cash reserve account. But one thing I also want to have you think about is when you do reach retirement, you want to do this 70-30 split. Don't do it right when you retire, because you would be taking 300,000 out, selling 300,000 if you're S&P 500 in a down market. You'd be selling low. So what a lot of people would recommend is maybe 5 or 6 years before retirement. If you have a good year, then take the money out of, say, for example, the returns were like 1924. Take 100,000 out of this amount and put it over here and start building up that cash reserve so that by the time you retire, you do have that 300,000 in there, and you can have the 700,000, leave that in the S&P 500 instead of doing it all at once. And when you retire, and if you happen to be in a down year, you're going to take that 100,000 out when the market's already going down. You don't want to sell low. Well, let's go ahead and look at some other scenarios. What I've done is updated this, or we're going to update this for every single year if the returns are like they were in the last 100 years, which we think it's going to be somewhere between the best and the worst. It's not going to be outside that range. So here, I want you to notice something. You're going along here. Let's just pick a different year here. Just going to randomly pick a number here. Okay, 3,500. You're taking out 3,500 a month. And after you've done that for a few years, say you had a run like 1949. Well, these are the numbers for 1949. Look at this. You're taking out 3,500 a year because you did 4% of this $1 million. But after 10 years, you got $3.8 million. Well, think about that. Why would you keep taking 3,500 out, which isn't even close to 4%? Let's say, for example, in fact, I'm just going to use a more, let's just say you have $2 million after that 10 years. $2 million after that 10 years. 3,500 is only 2.1% of that. Let's go see what you would have if you have, actually I should do 1.4 million because I see a lot of these are more along that range. Let's just do 1.4 million. I don't want to exaggerate, but I'm just showing you if after 10 years you've got this kind of money in your account, then taking out 3,500 is only taking out 3%. When the recommended amount you can have without running out of money is 4%. So how do we get to 4%? 4,500. You could take out $4,750 because now you got $1.4 million in there. Let's update this and see where you might be. Again, you're not going to run out of money with this 4% rule. In fact, in a lot of these cases with the 1.4 million after 10 years, you could raise this even more because you're still, except for in years like 1929, you could actually, so in other words, if you're having a good run, your initial years of retirement, go ahead and take out more. Go ahead and use the 4% of what you have, your current balance is. You don't have to stick with that 4% of the original million because you're up to 1.4 million, up to, look at these numbers after 10 years, 1.7 million, 2 million, so go ahead and up that to whatever is 4% of that rule, but stick to the 4% rule. Don't go with Dave Ramsey's 8% rule, because that will run you out of money in some cases, not in every case, but you really want to take that chance. If 25% of the time you'd run out of money, go ahead and stick with the 4% rule. And if you have some good beginning years, this amount's going to really build up and you can take out more then. And just monitor what's going on those initial years. But our channel is called $1 Million Made Easy. I wanted to share some of these withdrawal strategies, what you can do to have your money last in retirement. Consider subscribing to our channel. Please share these numbers with people, both the accumulation stage, some of the other videos, and then this video about once you reach retirement age and start withdrawing. Consider subscribing, share these videos with people, and like them, and thanks for watching.